Hello, my name is Oliver Guzman, and this is Data Chicago Productions. Today we have with us an Iraqi war veteran that was hit with an IED, and he has neurological problems. And he has a comfort dog. And a lot of these people, a lot of these veterans with comfort dogs face discrimination sometimes. And we're here to talk with John Jans. And we also have with us Mike Tellerino, who's a member of PAWS that furnishes veterans with comfort dogs or service dogs. Thank you, and welcome to the program. So, John, exactly what happened with you over in Iraq?
Back in 2005 and 2006, we were in the city of Ramadi. While we were on patrol, I got hit by a roadside bomb, knocked out from the blast, and subsequently have some neurological issues these days.
So, on your return home, how was it? How hard was it to get reaccustomed?
It was very rough. There's a lot of memory problems. The military and the VA, their go-to is medicine, and you having memory problems. You can't remember to take your meds once a day, let alone 3 or 4 times a day. And there was a point I was on 18 different meds, some of them 4 times a day, and it was just.
It's quite a bit.
Yes.
So, how did you get involved with getting a service dog?
After I was discharged from the military, my wife just showed up with her one day. A woman she worked with was putting her down because she was untrainable, and I happened to find a trainer in the area and started taking her to training. And what started out as my wife's dog slowly turned more and more into my dog, and then we had her trained for.
All right. So I understand that these dogs have to have vests. Is it required from that vest? And are they registered? Do they have to be registered?
There's a registry. However, there's no certification. There's no federal or state licenses that the dogs have. The vests, they don't have to wear them. It just helps identify them. And for someone like myself that looks normal and fine, it really helps.
Right. I understand sometimes when you have a service dog, people automatically think that they're obligated, or they want to ask exactly what happened. How do you feel about that?
That's usually not a problem with me. She has helped me immensely, and I like to let people know how and why I have her. But when I first got her, or when I first got out rather, if someone would approach me, I had a lot harder of a time explaining why I had her and what she did for me. And
how did you run into Mike Tellerino from PAWS?
I was at an event at a Harley dealership, yeah. And the woman that invited me out to this event was friends with Michael. Michael was out there doing his PAWS Illinois work, and we just happened to meet.
Mike, yeah. How long does it take? Just what kind of services PAWS do?
Well, first of all, we have a program. It's called Pets for Vets. And what we do is, if you're a veteran with a service dog, we provide the dog with lifetime food for that dog, as long as they have that dog. We also provide medical services as well, spade, neutering, vaccinations. What happens is, when the veterans receive these service dogs, they're on an allotment to begin with of whatever amount of money it is per month. But when they're given that service dog, again, they're not given any extra money to help take care of that dog. And as we all know, having a pet could be very expensive.
Correct, yes.
So what PAWS Illinois does now is we try to help our vets alleviate that problem so they could, not have that stress to worry about.
Is there a certain age limit, age that a person has to be to have a service dog?
No, a service dog, there's 8-year-old kids with service dogs.
Okay, so is there a certain limit to a type of disability a person has?
Like John, if you were to look at John, he looks perfectly normal, but yet John suffers from PTSD. Most people are of the opinion that either, you have to be in a wheelchair, handicapped in some way, with a visual handicap. Well, people such as John himself, you can't tell, and he even has a handicap or a PTSD until he has the issue.
So, John, just how does what's the name of your service dog?
Her name's Allie.
Allie. So how does Allie help you?
She can detect seizures, blackouts. She helps in public settings. Usually, if we're sitting still, if we're standing or sitting in a public area, she'll sit with her back. Well, she'll sit facing backwards, so she'll watch, make sure no one's approaching me from behind. She'll put herself between someone that approaches us. If we're in a very crowded place, she'll walk circles around me to keep a perimeter, to keep some space.
Some people suspect that because you have a service dog that they're not lead normal dog life. So how is that? What do you say about that?
She knows when she's working. She's got her vest on. Yeah. As soon as you take her vest off, she will wander off and try and jump up and
be your
play
average
with you.
house pet.
Right.
Just be your average house pet.
She knows when she's working. As soon as she gets off work, take the vest off. It's fair game.
Why don't you call her over?
Allie, come here. No.
And this is Allie. Could you pick her up?
So this is
See,
Allie.
so like dogs, is there certain breeds of dogs that are more likely to be service dogs, or just how do you choose
I
them?
don't believe so, Jen, do you?
No.
I think it's the individual dog itself, its personality. Mm-hmm. It has to have a specific personality to be a good service dog. And a lot of problems are now that you can go online for $25 and you can register a cat as a service animal, a Chihuahua as a service dog. No formal training whatsoever, but they'll give you a vest, they'll give you an ID card, and what happens then is that, they go into a restaurant and they just don't know how to behave themselves, and they give dogs like Allie a bad name, and people say, well, we don't want service dogs in our restaurant.
Right.
So how much does it usually cost to train a dog like this?
We've got a program right now where we're sending 2 dogs to a Michigan prison that they're training our dogs behind bars for the inmates. And what we're doing is they'll stay there to do training and advanced training. Once they leave there and they've completed that training, John and I are in a process right now of picking out 2 veterans to be recipients of these 2 dogs that we sent there. After we meet with the veterans, we'll find out what exactly their disability is and make sure it's a good match for not only the veteran, but the dog as well. You just try to find a forever home. Illinois has a big issue right now with in their shelters and rescue groups. There are just so many out there that we're trying to save, and a lot of them are seniors or dogs with disabilities and stuff like that. Those are the dogs that are hard to place. PAW started a program. What we do is we provide food to shelters and rescue groups to subsidize that so they could spend that money on medical attention that these dogs need. Last week we donated 146,000 pounds of food to shelters and rescue groups. And and it takes a lot of people to do this. We've got a guy that has the RJW warehouse, Kevin Williamson, the CEO. If it wasn't for him allowing us to do what we do out of his warehouse, we couldn't continue with this program. So it takes a big group of people to pull this all together.
Well, you know, I know for some, I know some lady, her name is Kamidel, who has a service dogs, and one of the things she carries a sign that says, "Do not approach me, do not say hi to me, do not touch me." You know, and a lot of them don't even have, that's one of the reasons a lot of these service dogs don't even have their names on them. They don't want anybody to even know the names of their service dogs.
Right.
How was that? Is that correct, or?
I don't mind. She takes the attention off of me, and that's huge for me. It's when you walk into a place, and if I walk into a place, I start scanning the area looking for key components of the room, the exits, and looking for possible
Right.
Issues.
issues. Yeah, so let's go that route. Issues.
Yeah, issues that could come up from it.
I don't look, I don't want to say crazy, but if I've got her, people are kind of more focused on her.
On Allie rather
and
than paying
they're
attention
not,
to John.
They're not staring at me.
Right.
Right.
No, I totally understand. I mean, sometimes, you know, when people see a person with a service dog, you know, if they're not blind or anything, like they
The
automatically.
curiosity.
Right.
It's the curiosity that makes them ask the
Right.
Right.
questions and stuff like that.
Right.
And so I suppose you're pretty comfortable with that by now. you know?
Yes,
now.
with individuals, yes.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there's been times we go into a restaurant and we'll either get refused service or
Why would that be?
I went into Applebee's a couple of months back, and we've been in there dozens of times. It's my wife's favorite restaurant. But there was a new manager, and he said you have to have an actual disability in order to have a service dog. So
Again, if they don't
I've-
see it.
I've got a disability. It's like, well, I don't see it.
Right.
And
So when you train dogs for veterans, what type of proof of a disability do they have to have, like medical records?
You know,
or?
they have to be discharged from the service with a known disability that they're receiving compensation from the military. And then, like I said, Paws Illinois will meet with the veterans, find out exactly what their disability is, and then match them up with just the perfect dog for it. Not all dogs are suitable to be service dogs. Not all veterans are, qualified to have a service dog.
Well, what is the litmus test for a veteran to have a service dog?
The need. The problem is most veterans don't know the process about going in the process of obtaining a service dog. That's the problem with most of it. The Veterans Administration is such red tape.
and it changes so
And,
frequently.
yeah, I mean, the rules, regulations, and, requirements, you never know from 1 minute to the next what is required.
So I understand you're involved with another organization.
Yeah, we're with the Refurbished Pets out of Michigan. They are the ones that we partnered with to do this program for the veterans. We're trying to provide at least minimum of 6 service dogs a year to veterans, rather than having to go through the Veterans Administration and all that red tape. We're taking that and we're running with it to give these veterans a chance to have the service dog.
Now, as far as living conditions, what type of living conditions are required to have a service dog? And most importantly, do you run into problems like where you move to, or landlords, or whatever?
Go, John.
All right. Well, I can't say too much on the subject. I've currently
Right.
got a lawsuit going with my current apartment complex over my service dog, and I've been advised not to speak
Right.
too much on the issue. But there are a lot of problems that.
Do you think that maybe one of the problems might be some people might be scared of dogs, or they might be allergic to dogs?
Look at Allie. How can you be afraid of Allie?
Right. True.
It's not like it's a vicious animal
Right.
there. That's
I mean, some people are just like that. I mean, do you run into a lot of situations like that?
I come across people that are scared of dogs all the time, and I know of at least 3 people that have been bit previously in their life, and
Just have a fear.
They're just afraid of them. So
Right.
they'll see Allie, and I'll talk to them for a minute, and it'll be the first time they've pet a dog in 15 years.
Allie's a good ambassador
Right.
of service pets. I mean, she's what a service pet should be, and really is a great service dog.
So how was your life before and after with Allie?
Before I got Allie, it was it took me a couple of years to go out into public, and when I did, it was just very briefly, just absolute necessity, and then I would, get back home, and since having her, I'm in downtown Chicago right now. I never dreamed of being here
Right.
after coming home.
So can you describe just like a day in a life?
A day in the life, she will wake up. She sleeps in bed with my wife and I, which she helps with action dreams, and so we'll wake up and she'll just be next to me all day long, no matter what's going on, and she'll
Just be a good
I'm sorry,
friend.
Yeah.
Just be a good friend for you. So, before you went into the service and all this had happened, just how was your life before all this happened?
Before I went in, I was great. I was typical teenager. Lots of girlfriends, lots of partying, good times, all that fun stuff. Came home and my life was completely different.
So I understand that one of the ways you cope in life is that you constantly have to write things down all the time to remember.
Yes.
No, that's one of the neurological. I'm sorry to say it.
No, that's-
Neurological problem that you have. Can you give a phone number or a website address to
God,
the
yeah.
people that
If you know a veteran that's in need of food, medical attention, and they have a service dog or a dog, just a dog, and they need help, because they've been a veteran, they served our country, the least we could do is help these guys when they come home. So all they have to do is call PAWS Illinois, 708-990-0460, or they can go to our website, which is pawsillinois.org, or they can go to our Facebook page and let us know what they're looking for, and we'll help them out.
isn't there some other organization you were telling me about earlier that you were?
There's a Save a Dog, saveavet.org.
Okay.
What they're doing, a lot of these dogs that come back from overseas that were service dogs, they can't be rehomed. They have PTSD themselves. So they can't be adopted out. So typically the Army would euthanize these dogs because they couldn't do anything with them. The SaveAvet.org was put together to help these dogs. What they did, they have a place in Indiana that they house all these dogs that typically would have been euthanized in Indiana, and they're also building living quarters for homeless veterans on the same property. So it's just a great organization.
Is there anything else that either two you want to add?
You hear a lot about veteran suicides. The numbers you see are typically 22 veterans a day are committing suicide, but it's closer to 32. The numbers don't take into account individuals that are not registered in the VA system. So if you're a veteran, you're not registered in the VA, you don't count.
They're life-changing, these animals.
But yet, you feel these dogs have curbed that number?
Absolutely.
And how does that, how do you feel that way?
Without my wife and my dog, I'd be dead or in jail. I guarantee that. I know firsthand how much she's changed my life and has every day helped me. Every day since I got her, she's helped me.
Is it with just a peacefulness, of a relaxation? Is it?
Was it emotional or
It's
physical?
everything from I don't have to worry about having a blackout and, you know, waking up on the sidewalk somewhere, which I've done before. And, you know, she helps with, she keeps my medicine on her.
I
forget to
heard
say
that sometimes that they're able to suspect seizures coming on, or they're able
Yes,
to
sir.
suspect
chemistry.
that
She can,
In your- body
something,
chemistry.
and they can alert real fast.
Right.
They're trained to alert people that
Right.
something is going on physically.
they can smell a chemical change that's taking place in the body as it's happening before the
Seizure comes on there.
before the seizure, or whatever the medical condition is, from diabetes to cancer. They can smell a chemical change and alert the individual. Like myself, I don't have grand mal seizures. I have simple partial seizures, which are you look like you're staring off into the. All right.
Go ahead.
You look like you're staring off in the distance, or just kind of zoned out, but it's actually a seizure. She alerts me to those before they happen, and I'm able to take a seat, calm down, and I'm good.
So what a great comfort feeling that must be.
Absolutely.
Is there anything else that either two you want to add, to bring forward to?
Again, it's public awareness. These vets have to know that there's a place they could go, a place they can turn for help. That's the biggest issue. Our government just doesn't put it out there enough for our veterans. They come back here and they throw their hands up in the air and say, you know, now what? You know, what do I do now? Where do I go from here? There are organizations such as Paws Illinois that will help them, you know, get the things they need for their pets or for themselves. I mean,
So you would request that people write their congressman or write?
oh, without a doubt, you know, there's so much more we could be doing that we're not. You know, it's amazing when these guys come back. And again, it's just lack of knowledge. John can tell you, I'm sure, you know, when he got back, you know, you don't know what to do first. You know, you got no one leading you in the right direction, and things change so often with the Veterans Administration. It's hard to keep up with it.
The procedures now for getting a service dog through the VA. Actually, I don't even know if the VA has a program right now. Last I checked, it was canceled. The only reason I got my dog through the VA was my doctor wrote a prescription, quite literally typed out a piece of paper that said, you know, I need a service dog, and I had to go out on my own and find it, train it, and that, since I was discharged in 2008, has changed to they will provide dogs that are already trained. Then they stop doing that, and
But it's at the expense
you
of the
know,
veteran.
So you don't, let me get this straight, so there aren't any grants or any federal help?
You can go to private organizations such as Paws Illinois for assistance.
That's surprising.
You can get it quicker through a private organization such as Paws than you can go through the VA and get it. The VA has a waiting list when their program was active. The VA had a waiting list of over a year.
Wow.
And you'd have to go out east typically to get the dog at your own expense.
Wow, that's
So that's
pretty
just putting a big burden on these veterans. I mean,
Right.
you know, they're on a fixed income, limited income to begin with. Then they have that added expense of another a mouth to feed, medical bills and stuff like that. You know, it's hard. It just is.
All right. Well, once again, my name is Oliver Guzman. I want to thank John Jans, Mike Tellerino from PAWS for being here on the program. And if you possibly can, try to get on the call to the Veterans Administration, because these veterans who are returning that need comfort dogs really is a necessity for them to live their lives. And you know, it's not just for a pet. It's a major life-saving thing service for these veterans. Thank you very much. My name is Oliver Guzman, the Deb Chicago Productions, and have a great day.
Hi, my name is Mike Tellerino. I am with Paws Illinois. We're a not-for-profit. What we're trying to do is start a registry here in Illinois for service dogs. Illinois does not have a registry that can associate a service dog as being certified. So what we'd like to ask people to do is contact Paws Illinois at 708-990-0460 so we could help pass a law here in the state of Illinois that can get this done. It's really needed, and it would help our veterans with their service dogs.